Okay, it is time to talk about fortresses, the best place to level up quickly. We're going to be going into this in detail and actually going through how do you do these, what are all the rankings, what do all the numbers mean, and looking at this in more detail. So let's take this step by step and dive in. Off here you have all the chambers you can get into, and each chamber gets progressively more difficult and more difficult to get into. So chamber number 1 in the ruins is really easy. So you have the first 5 that are in the ruins, and the next 5 are in the towers, and they continue on down. You can see I haven't gotten that far yet because I've been really focusing on leveling up, so I've been hitting the lower levels on here. So first thing you have to do is pick your chamber, and you all have to pick the same chamber if you're all going to be together. So for today, let's actually pick ruins number 3. Next thing you have to do is pick your runestone. Now, some people are going to tell you your runestone doesn't affect the difficulty of the chamber, and that is a lie. Runestones do affect the difficulty of the chamber. The higher the number of runestone, the more difficult the chamber is. Also, the runestones will determine your quality and type of rewards that you get. So on each of these, you're going to see, like this blue one here, Magic Zoology runestones. That is going to give you Magic Zoology family XP when you get done. Probably. There's some iffy to there. Also, the number of the runestone will talk about how much of the reward you get. The more difficult the chamber is, the more rewards you get. So for this one, let's do Magical Games and Sports number 1. And once you get into that, then you have 20 seconds to get going in this particular one. In the level 1, you only have 5 seconds. So if other people are going to join in, they have to join in really quickly. Make sure that I have all their runestones in there as well. So as we count down here, you can see who's in there and what runestone they put in. So everyone can put in different level runestones and different types of runestones. Anyone can put in whatever type they want. So I wanted to do this all live in person right there on the phone with the camera in front of me, but the problem is I need to slow it down to actually talk about all the detail that is in this challenge, because you're only given a certain amount of time to complete the challenge. Usually for level 1s, it's like 4 minutes, and then it goes up to around 5 minutes, and then it goes up to around 6 minutes. And the larger, heavier challenges, you get more and more time. You can see that actually right here at the top, you'll see 4 minutes and 59 seconds. That's how much time you have to complete this. Nothing stops that clock. If you're taking potions, that clock is still ticking. If you're fighting someone, that clock is still ticking. That clock will continue to tick, and if it stops ticking, the challenge is over and you lost. So it's of utmost importance to keep an eye on that clock and know how much time you have left. So let's continue on here and take a look at the actual field once we get up here. The first thing you'll notice is up here at the top you have this 2/2. That means you have 2 opponents to attack here. The 2/2 means you have 2 left. If you knock the first one out, then it'll be 1/2. Or if you have 4 opponents, it'll have 4/4, 3/4, and so on. And it lets you know how many opponents there are left to be knocked out in this challenge. Underneath the clock, you have your personal identifier. If it's just you, you'll just see you're up there. If you have other people you're playing with, then you'll also see them up there with their icon as well. And this way you can give things to your opponents to help them out, as well as they can give things to you. Then we're going to move down here to your opponent, and you will see all of your opponents set out on this field. There may be 1 or 2 at the beginning. More may come along as you defeat some, but you'll see them sitting here in the field. Number 1, you're going to be able to see what type they are. This particular one is a pixie. Underneath that, there is a number. That is the level of the pixie. How strong is that pixie? What is their capabilities? So it's level 17. It's moderate, but not bad. Then underneath them, you'll see the red bar. That is how much health do they have left. So if someone has attacked them, the health bar may be knocked down a ways, and you can know how much of them is left on there. Underneath that, you have 5 boxes. Those boxes are spells that have been cast against that pixie. You can only have 5 against any particular opponent, and so if you put 1 or 2 on him, and then one of your friends has put 1 or 2 on him, then there's only that 1 slot left. So you only have so many spells that you can actually cast against an opponent. Now these 2 other items here on the side, those are the things that really confuse people. Number 1, the one on the top with the purple color, that is what type of character is. This particular one is an oddity, which I, being a professor, am good at conquering oddities. And you'll see that little up arrow. That up arrow means I have a really good chance of attacking this character. So if you're in the field with several other people, then look for the one with the green arrow. That is the one you are going to be the best against. If you see one with a red arrow pointing down, then you may want to let someone else do that one, because that is one that you're actually going to be very poor against. Then right underneath that, you see that little swirling galaxy symbol. And you'll also notice that all the way down at the bottom. That is focus. Basically what happens, if you knock this person out, then that person will give you more focus energy. And you can see the bar down at the bottom lets you know how much focus you have. And how much focus you have determines what spells you can use. You see I have 4 spells that I have learned at the bottom here, but only one of them is colored in, and that is because it requires 0 focus energy. You see the 0 there. That means I can use that at any time. Now this particular one, if I use it, it has a 5 or 6 second countdown that I can only use it every 5 or 6 seconds. But because it's 0 focus, it doesn't take any focus away from me. So let's actually let this play on and talk about what we've got. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this spell down here. You see it's green. That means that you can use it on yourself or one of your friends. You drag it up and you place it on one of your friends. That will help them out in whatever way that particular spell helps out. Now I'm not going to go into all the different spells and what they do because each profession has a different list of spells and has different capabilities of them. So that's something you're going to have to learn on your own, or I might actually do another video on that here soon. Let me know if you'd like to see that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click the potion in the bottom corner here, and it opens up the potions that I have available to me. I have a red healing potion, I have a strong invigoration draft, and I have a regular invigoration draft. Now an invigoration draft will give you more focus, so it'll increase that bar at the bottom and you can use more of your spells. So right off the bat I'm going to use a strong invigoration draft that gives me more focus and allows me to use another spell right off the bat. I could also use health if I need it, but right now my health is full, which you can see the bar right underneath my name. So we're going to click that invigoration draft and it fills up. And you can see my bar fills up on here, and that also brings up the other opponent. I can now see the second opponent. Sometimes the other opponent doesn't appear until later, but because I use the invigoration draft, now he appears. So now at the bottom you can see, because I have more focus, I now have the ability to use these 2 other spells that each cost 3. The green one is one I could use on myself. This particular one adds to my defense. And this red one makes my spells more effective against my opponent. And so I'm actually going to drag that red one up and put it on this pixie. And now that we've put that on the pixie and I can throw another one on myself, then we can attack the pixie. So I click on the pixie, then click start, and it takes me into the battle with the pixie. Now you don't always have to do that. If you can attack the foe right off the bat and you don't have to worry about all of the spells and potions, then just go ahead and do it. Now here's a quick tip with the pixie. It's very hard because pixies are always bouncing around, and keeping the star on them is very difficult. If you put your finger right on the wand tip, it makes it easier to focus. And rather than just trying to follow the pixie around, I often find it better just to scrub the pixie. So you can see the cursor is kind of rubbing over, and scrubbing around will just make it a little bit faster. As long as you don't make it too big and do not take your finger off the screen, you may find that this helps you out. So once we have aimed and we've lined up the stars, now we can cast our spell. And it's just like any other spell. Trace it as best you can, as fast you can, and let's see how much damage we do. That was a serious amount of damage. Now one of the nice things about pixies is they're pretty easy once you actually aim at them. If you don't aim fast enough, then you may run out of time and they can attack you first. You always get to attack your opponent first, unless you are too slow with your aiming, and then they get the chance to attack you. So now that we've attacked the pixie can now attack us. This little arrow coming there, you want to swipe your finger across that arrow in the direction it's showing, and that is Protego. It throws up a defense so that the pixie's attack on you is not as bad. If you mess it up, you're too slow, then the pixie's attack on you will be far stronger. So we can continue on here. Sometimes the Protego will do damage against your opponent if it's strong enough, and sometimes it doesn't. So now it's our turn again. We get to line up the arrow and then cast our spell, and this was enough to knock them out. It emptied out the HP of the pixie, and now we can go on. So now you can see they've disappeared from the field, and as they disappear, it's now going to give us more focus. So now we can use our spells on ourselves, and then I can use the red against the opponent. And now we can click on the opponent and click start and then go into them. Now this particular opponent has that red arrow pointing down. That means they're going to be more difficult for me. Now if I were an Auror, this would actually be an easier one for me, but because I am a professor, they're going to be more difficult. Now right at the beginning of every turn you get, right before you cast your spell, you'll see the potion icon appear in the bottom right hand corner here. And that is your one chance to use the potion. So if you need to use a potion right now, if you need more focus or you need more strength in your spell casting, or you need to heal yourself, now's the time to click the potion quickly. It does take time to do that, and you will see the clock still continue to count down, but you need to use your potions. This is the only time you have to do it. So in here, I can use an Estimulo potion. I could use an Estimulo, a strong Estimulo, or a potent Estimulo, just like you can use in your Foundables. This makes your spells more potent. It makes them more valuable. So if you use this, you're going to be more powerful. It only lasts for a certain amount of spell casts, but it gives you more strength. And then of course you also have your healing potion that will raise your HP. We also have the wit sharpening potion, and this will increase your effectiveness against elite foes. So if you're up against an elite foe, go ahead and throw one of those on there, and it will help you out as you go along, making you that much more effective, and in some cases up to 50%. So now with our potions in place, we can line up, and you notice there I was too slow. I spent too much time using potions, and I didn't have enough time to aim. And so that means he gets to attack first, which means I have to be quick and ready, throw my Portkey, and then he gets a chance to attack me. I have my arrow, I can aim, and then cast my spell. And you can see it takes away from the potions as I used one of them. We can continue on. It's going to be this whole process back and forth. Portkey, aim, cast your spell. Portkey, aim, cast your spell. And always think about it, right before aiming, you can use a potion. Every time, right before you use an aim, you can use a potion. And you can see up here their hit points are almost down, and my hit points are doing really good, so I don't have to worry about that so much. Also right here at the top, one of the things you want to notice, these are the spells that are currently counting against him, so you can see if all of them are in there. And then at any point, if you're worried about what you're doing, you can hit this little runaway, and you'll be able to run away and not have to worry about it too much. Now, what happens if your hit points actually go all the way down? Well, what happens is a timer starts, and you're basically knocked out for a certain amount of time, usually about 30 seconds, and that means that you can't fight for 30 seconds, and then once that's done, then you're back in with full health. And so sometimes it's worth getting knocked out so you don't have to use the potion, and sometimes the time is running out, so you got to do it right now, use the potion, and get back in the game. Hey, success! We knocked him out. And so that is the challenge. And from there on, now you get to see all your bonuses. And we actually get to go down through here and see what stickers we got, what foundables we were able to create. And we now get to see our challenges and how much that gets ranked up. Added 15 to that. And then we have our extra bonus. And this was from the runestone we chose, because we chose a magical games and sports runestone. And now that's given us 5 more family HP for magical games and sports. And then of course your XP, how much you've gotten, and added onto that, and continues on down. I love this little animation. It's kind of fun. Here's a quick overview summary of everything you've got, and you're in the field. And then when you're done, you'll see this green and gold, and the color changes, the flame running around the fortress. That lets you know that someone is in there, or has just been in there, or the time is still going on that particular challenge. Other people can get in there and start their own challenges, but this lets you know that, hey, someone might be in the area. Maybe you can go see if someone else is playing around. So that's about it for the fortresses. I hope you've enjoyed this. This is kind of one of those fun things. And once you master this and you can get through fortresses quickly, you can level up very quickly. Stay at the highest fortress level that you can accomplish with a 1 or 2 hit attack, which for me is usually a level 2 or a level 3 depending upon the runestone I put on it. I hope you like this content. If you did, please let me know down below if you have any questions, thoughts, or ideas, or anything particular you'd like me to talk on in the future. I think that's about it for now. And until next time, have a magical day. And after all that fun, let's open up a chocolate frog, and hopefully we're going to get something new. So, let's see. What did we get this time? We got... Salazar Slytherin. I think I only have one other of his. So, if I have any extras and you come and meet me in person, feel free to ask me, and I'll give you one.